This is Calicat the Calicatster. This is a review of Fast 10, Fast X. Which if it's an X, should be X-rated. Fast X. Does feature Vin Diesel picking up Rodriguez, but in a 90. But other than that, yeah, it features butts and it's down to Rio de Janeiro as well. But they do that all. And there's a race, of course. There's car races. Yeah. So I'll kind of echo what John Campea show said, in that it is better than the last one. Last one was literally jumped the shark and the earth by having Ludacris and his friend go into space in a Fiero with rockets on the back, like out of a Cars episode. Not the well, the Cars too. They also do, but out of an '80s Hot Wheels Warriors type of thing. Yeah, totally did stuff like that back then. The cars are death-defying from here. Seems to start where the other one left off, with him going a family gathering thing that goes on way too long, with an venerable old actress in it who plays the grandmother, and is trying really hard to be the character in the story, but yeah, without going, oh, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, so we have a lot of goofy sort of out there shenanigans. Yeah. It gets pretty silly. The other members of the team go on a thing. Well, let's cut back to the beginning of the story where they do a Looney Tunes safe cracking scene where these two evil bad guy dudes, the Reyes dudes, father and son, I guess. So basically Mamoa playing the son. They figure out a way to steal the money in their organization, I guess. And if it's only 10 years ago, then it was during Fast 10? I don't know when this took place. But yeah, Mamoa's not been in it before, so. They just don't bother mentioning Walker at all. They kind of leave him out. I think they imply that he's there once or twice, but yeah, they leave him out. And they should have left him out after part 7. They should have, the real actor died during making part 7, so they should have just had him die in the end of part 7, like along with the actor. Then just because they had to fudge their way around it in part 8 and part 9. Just, oh, he's coming any minute. He's gonna show up. Yeah, totally. Except this one kind of fudges that by saying, oh, it wasn't the guy that showed up, it was the mother. Because it's implied that it was like immediately after the other one. Then we have, but no, it was supposed to be Walker. That's who it was supposed to be. Yeah, that's wrong. That's not who that was supposed to be. They retconned it. Jason Lin was one of the writers and they brought the Tokyo Drift guy back. And a lot of people who are dead are alive or dead. There's a Rio de Janeiro other sister person, something going on there. Yeah, there's a pretty big body count if you consider all the collateral damage they do in these movies. There would be multiple deaths all across the world. But in this one, you have like in all the car chases, people would be dead, turning cars over and blowing up and crushing them and whatever. They would be gone. So we have Fast and Furious. We have people doing goofy stuff that. So the others go on a mission where they end up. It's a trap, and they go to Rome. The trap from Los Angeles. So they all get on a flight somehow, plane. They fly over there within less than 24 hours. Looks like. Okay. Yeah, they're all there. They're all there. The passage of time and gravity and situations have no meaning in this series. There's no way that the Dom would have caught up with them later. Dom and the other one would have caught up. There's just no way. It's not physically possible unless they had a transporter. But they had the same problem in Star Trek Picard with the winery and the Data guy escaping with the beam. How did he transport if he didn't have the transporter? Where'd he get it? How did he get back to LA from France in just hours? Yeah, same thing here. So we have Charlize Theron's character all beaten up. She shows up at the Dom house thing, and there's a fight, and then bad guys show up, and it's revealed that it's a trick, and he's got to go rescue his friends, and somehow, even though that would be another 16-hour flight, no matter what kind of jet they have, still be 16 hours to get to Rome. So, they would still be waiting a long day. He would get there like a day later. But no, in this universe, for some reason, they have somehow the ability to do that. Go to Rome. And when they get to Rome, it's basically a ripoff of James Bond. And Looney Tunes at the same time. Oh, tremendous car chase thing using mainly, obviously, green screen work. Well, they destroyed some stuff. It was mainly green screen. They didn't actually kill anybody. And apparently the heist that they're going to do was actually a bomb on the armored car. They didn't look, of course. Big bomb. Round neutron bomb. And bad guy Mamoa wants to blow up the universe. He's acting his ass off in this, trying to be the bad guy. He'd be good as a villain in a Batman movie. I was thinking like Penguin, but I think no. And then I thought, no, Bane. He should be Bane. Do him in the new Batman. He should be Bane. That would work. That would work. It's Batman, and maybe this time they won't make him mumble through his mask, Batman. Because it matters what he says, not to have him mumble. So anyway, so you've got crazy heist that goes wrong. You have a flaming bomb through the streets of Rome. Somehow the bomb going up and down streets and down things toward the Vatican, and the Vatican was on a hill, so. How did it get anywhere near that? And it blows up. Terrific stunt thing, flying the car and the Dom going in the water. And how many of those Chargers does he have? And how many of those other cars does he have? He seems to be. Maybe he's got like a fleet of other cars that he can just get into and know how to drive. But he did have the gray one though. They didn't have the gray one. Yeah, they borrowed the gray one. So that wasn't the Charger. With the Hot Wheels extra turbocharger on top, even though it didn't really need that. Yeah, they actually kind of made a mistake in it when they were mentioning the car parts and things that were inside the engine. And it's like, actually, that particular model of SS car would have, it was an Oldsmobile they were looking at. And that particular car would have turbocharger. It would have a carburetor, but it was obviously done up with an extra like turbo thing attached to it. So the guy looking at it didn't know what he was talking about. Yeah. So they would have had that. Yeah. They would have had a carburetor and turbochargers. Yeah. Unless the air intake, because it would have been, it wouldn't be a 442, then it would be a turbocharger. Yeah. I don't even know much about cars, but I know about that. So that didn't make sense. Oh well. Anyway, so if he was, maybe he pulled out the other parts of the engine to put in this part, and why did they even talk about that? Weird. So we have, that's about So then we have our heroes doing death-defying stunts and things that defy all physics and gravity. They didn't go to Mars, but they might as well have. This one. Rose character gets a hold of something called the God's Eye from the Charlize Theron character and tries to blow up use it to blow him up, figure out where things are. Why would the super secret FBI people build a device that allows him to be like in Batman 2 and spy on all satellites everywhere. That would be kind of a dumb thing to do. Because somebody would steal it immediately if it actually worked that way. Yeah, so... and why are they like super spies? Like since movie 2 or 3, they've been spies, super spies. It's like they're just street racers. They're not supposed to be like Supermen with galactic powers that go all over the world. And the British chick, you know, the British girl, Ludacris, and the other guy go to London. And they're trying to find the blackmail guy, and there's a scene with that. They have to get the son out of the house, and the bad guys are going to go after the son. The kids who's 10. Oh, the beginning of the movie, the Dom character is being incredibly neglectful by letting his 10-year-old kid drive a car. Or 8-year-old kid drive a car. Like, what? Why's he doing that? That's really bad. No. And he aged up, I guess, a little bit. Because wasn't he a baby in, like, part 6? And that wasn't that long ago. Part 6, was it? I mean, okay. I'd have to check, but I don't care. Anyway, so we have the bomb blows up the Vatican. Now frames them all. You know, frame them all. Public enemy number 1 all over the world, so everybody goes after them. And it's like, yeah, why did they bother doing that? Why not just like they frame them for detonating the space bomb or whatever? Where did the heist went wrong? They could call that an accident because they were dumb enough to pull it out of the truck on the street with it. But yeah, so they're in London and the other thing, and then there's like very Looney Tune, silly Raiders of the Lost Ark type. Let's run away from the bomb. Dang, dang, dang. It's a big boulder. It's gonna get us. It's on fire. It's on fire. It's flaming like a fireball down the street. It doesn't blow up till it has to blow up on cue. You know, the timer device is really slow. It's not going on. Somehow they go downhill down to the river and dump it in the river, and then somehow it's by the Vatican. But that makes no sense. How did it go back up? Down again. Anyway, so later on, some of them are in London, and Judi Dench character shows up again. There's like a scene with that. Dom goes off to Rio to do a street race, and the bad guy happens to be there, and he does the Batman thing, and he says, you know, the Joker thing from Batman 2, where he goes like, you either blow up this very Batman or this very Batman, except in this case it's blow up this car or that car Batman. Of course, since Dom's stepsister is in the other car, she's going to survive, right? Of course. Yeah, she survives. And she's related to the bad guy, apparently. Which is convenient. So they can look at the papers later. The bad guy. Oh my goodness. So I guess that's why he would know where she is. But why would the bad guy want to blow up his sister? Doesn't make any sense. Or half-sister. By marriage. It makes no sense. Why would he do? And how did he get there? If he just left Rome in the other scene, like, does he have like a Concorde that he can fly around in? And allows him to get to the other place that quick? Days? Less than a day? Did he immediately leave after a fake vet blew up? And they go over to London. The other guys are in London. They meet up with Moneybags guy has money on him, and the other ones don't have any money in their bank accounts in their hideout, so the one guy has money on him, like stuck to him and stuff. And so they have that, and they go to Jason Statham's like hideout, and an armored truck busts through the hideout, and there's a guy in the punching bag from the end credits of the last movie. So this is like right after that. The guy would be dead. It has to be right after that. So he gets out of the punching bag and runs away. And Ludacris is like, what the hell? This becomes relevant later. He wants to torture them and then destroy them, but none of them die until the climactic finale thingy. Spoilers. But you know they're not going to die, because you know they're going to make part 11, and this is a part 1. So they get up to the end and they do basically Avengers Endgame, but done as a universal Fast and the Furious movie with the bad guy playing Thanos, basically, and he basically does the same idea. Like, see, they're all going to be wiped out except for some of them. The two that were in the Antarctic base, they're okay. Theron and Letty are at the Antarctic base. And there's a cat fight between the two of them. So Jason Lynn is also a fan of my rant about Deep Space Nine, the finale, and shows the cat fight that never got shown in Deep Space Nine. Cat fight between Letty and the lady. Actually, they show it, the cat fight. And then they have to team up because, of course, they do. I guess the Rock didn't want to be in this, so he gets a cameo at the end. But it was probably all a stunt so that he could show up at the end and be all heroic in part 11. It's totally a stunt. They're in on the joke. Otherwise, he wouldn't show up at all at the end. So yeah, calls him a sumbitch. He's going to go after the bad guy. Sumbitch. Which is an odd thing to say. Maybe they were going to have him say son of a bitch, but they changed it. Or he was quoting from the cowboy movie that was playing in the theater. That the Vin Diesel has superpowers in this movie. Unexplainable superpowers. At one point, he throws a car. He throws a car. Literally, he picked up a several ton car and went and threw it at the bad guy, and then blocked somebody with part of a car. And come on, you're not Superman. Ridiculous. But then it got even more silly, because in the previous one he had used a zip line, a rope line to swing the car like Tarzan. This one he threw a car. Picks up cars flying through the air, cars going down dams, cars blowing up. Bad guy kidnapping at speed the kid from the other car, then somehow they get him out of the car, take him back through here kid, jump, trust me, or something to that effect, and he jumps out and he's able to get there, get grabbed by Vin Diesel back into the car. It's just ridiculous. And then they over the dam. And but while they're on this other bridge, at one point there's another battle scene where on the bridge where the safe tracking took place. And this other scene was silly too. There's a helicopter chasing them, and the helicopter chasing the car. It's kind of in the same place, and then they go into a tunnel and somewhere else. And Long said chasing, and the helicopters pick up his Dodge Charger into the air, and then he uses the car to somehow become heavier so that he could, because he shifted the gears. I think it's a 5-speed on a Dodge Charger. I think it's 5-speed, and he's like, it's either a Hemi or it's the other version. It's not a 442, but it's something like that. It's not a Hemi necessarily. There's a Hemi in the Dukes of Hazzard movie, and that's wrong. It wasn't a Hemi back then. Cooter put a Hemi in it. I don't know why. But no, Hemi was not at that point in the Dukes the show. It would have been a 442 or something like that. A 430 or something. So we have, but this is a hopped up one. So apparently it's heavier, and it's able to somehow yank. So it's somehow able to yank the helicopters out of the sky and have them and then crash each other, like out of Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, these movies are Grand Theft Auto, basically. Grand Theft Auto. They destroy a lot of cars, but yeah. So the subplot earlier was John Cena's brother character, the nephew of the kid, uncle of the kid, trying to rescue the kid. And there's a scene where he has a Ford Mustang, a small one. I've been in those. An 80s one. I want to know how John Cena got into a 1981 Mustang. It's pretty small. Same thing with it's about the size of a DeLorean inside. It's pretty small. I want to know how, as a guy that's over 6'5", got in that car. Because I got to sit in the DeLorean and the Mustangs, and they're not very big. And the Corvette, they're not very big. They're really not a big car. Somebody 6 feet's got to be like crunched down in there, like. I don't know how I got in there. And the Fiero, too. The Fiero was the wrong size. Clearly filmed the soundstage with a fake car. But yeah, they didn't put him in space, obviously. Fiero's a small car, too. So I was like, yeah, I've been in the DeLorean. I sat in the Doc Brown DeLorean. I'm as tall as Christopher Lloyd. And I was like hitting the head into the roof. So how did he get in there? Weird. They must have built an oversized car to put him and Lorraine and Marty in the car together for that scene, because there's no way you could do that. She'd be sitting in the middle on the controls. Thunk. Ah. Anyway, so same thing here. How did he fit in there with the kid? And their space kayak boat thing. How did they get that past security? It's like a miniature mini plane in the hangar deck. No, a commercial plane. So they do the DB Cooper thing, and they fly out in a little plane underneath the plane, which would then depressurize the jet, and they would all have to land very quickly, or they would all be fucked. The people in the plane would be screwed. There's a massive body count every time. There's people going the wrong way on free roads, and people are crashing into each other, and things exploding. They go through a bus. At one point, there's a bad guy that's bombed through a bus, which just doesn't make sense either. It's not the bomb on fire going through the bus doesn't. It wasn't on fire like it was nuclear, like it could melt through a bus. It would have stopped. It would have gone. It would have just stopped. Because, yeah, there's a bus. No. So, yeah, they do that in Transformers. But it ends at Endgame. It's a part one. And with apparently the heroes getting blown out in their plane on the way over there. They're in a plane, too. Crashing, but you don't actually see. You just see the crash. Of course, they're going to survive. And him getting plunged into the water off the dam when the dam blows up. And a bad guy getting away with it. And then end credits with The Rock showing up and saying he's gonna get him, the son of a bitch. So yeah, they're all stupid. These movies are really, really dumb. But yeah, it's dumb fun, I guess. Just 2.5 stars. It's not great. It's not. It's better than the last one. But the last one was ridiculous. The last one was amusing only because Marx Cards, who didn't see it, said before I saw it, I suppose they're going to go to space this time. And I said, well, actually. The next Thursday, I said, yes, they did. They went into space. So I knew it. Next they should have moon buggy races and stuff. They didn't go that far. But I'm surprised they didn't. They might as well do Airplane 3 and have them be in space. The God's Eye machine thing they ripped off from GoldenEye. Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, and since there's been 2 Five Nights at Freddy's rip-off movies, there were 2 different ones. Now they're making a Five Nights at Freddy's in the movie. And the whole Five Nights at Freddy's thing is actually a riff on Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz Pizza. And Chuck E. Cheese, when I was a kid, had and also the Red Letter Media people were also a kid. Rich Evans, no relation, but he had a Chuck E. Cheese Showbiz Pizza character. Dick the Birthday Boy, yes. Sure. That too. So he was familiar with it. When he reviewed the other one. Now he's going to have to do a review of Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie, which they're going to do a movie of it. But yeah, it's been the case for years. It's like, we thought of that when I was 12. 40 years ago. And it was like, I thought of that. Yeah, it was like we all thought of that. It's like, what happened if the animatronics went insane and wanted to kill everybody? Yeah, I wrote a story where the jammer jaw thing was like, it was like eating somebody, and there was like a hand dangling out of it. And one of the other ones like bit a guy's head off. It was like stuck in his. Ew. So yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. I played it. I wasn't scared. That's all. I've been to Chuck E. Cheese. So my sister worked there once, so I know all about Chuck E. Cheese. It's not scary. There were a couple of good jump scares in that game, though. Mostly the first one. The diversion would never been tried. Now that it's commercial, it's like, no, it's not. It's sort of like how they had they had the MacGyver TV series. The guy could like fix anything into something. And then they made a Saturday Night Live sketch that was more famous than the series in later years, called MacGruber. They never made a MacGyver movie, but they made a movie out of MacGruber, the fake MacGyver movie, which is really, really meta because it's a joke on the TV show. Apparently, they also tried to remake. They also tried to remake Quantum Leap, which ended really strangely because they didn't think that they were going to get canceled, so it ended really weird on a cliffhanger. And Scott Bakula never got home. But in this one, now the new one doesn't have him, so there's your problem. Yeah, if the new one doesn't have him in it, then have him get home. Pilot. Do a movie, have him get home. Yeah, now the other guy's dead, so the same guy's dead. Yeah, they could recast though. Yeah, since he's body swapping in the movie, but not like in this one. Yeah. So, yeah, yeah. Fast X. I don't know when they did a heist where they robbed the guy's safe, but I guess it's connected to something. I don't know. It's weird that they're Supermen that can pull helicopters out of the sky and throw cars. What are they going to do next? Is the other guy going to Hulk out and go like, "Arr"? Implied that the brother guy blew up too. The other guy. I don't think he did. I don't think any of them blew up. I think it's all like they've done this so many times before. Tokyo Drift guy comes back in part 7. Ooh, but isn't he dead? Like, no, they're not. None of them are dead. It's the ending of Avengers Part 1 with the snap. It's literally what it is. Yeah. So maybe the next one will be time travel. And they'll, yeah.